Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today, continuing the theme of Giratina this week, I have decided to bring you a Giratina and Darkrai deck. Now, I would like to give credit where credit is due. I did find this idea from, I believe it was world-renowned Heretic, but I decided to put my own spin on it just because I thought it was such a cool deck and would be very, very fun to use. But before I get into the video, just a reminder that if you like this or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. Now, like I said, this deck is centered around Darkrai and Giratina, and at face value, these guys really don't look like they have anything in common, because, I mean, Darkrai relies purely on, like, Dark Energy and having Dark Energy in play, and Giratina has the wonky Dragon attack cost and Chaos Wheel. I mean, Giratina has Item Lock, Darkrai relies on, like, having energy in play and being asleep, so really, what do these two have in common? Well, Double Dragon can actually power up Dark Pulse, so basically it adds 40 damage by just an attachment for one turn. So, I mean, you really have Giratina to just kind of Chaos Wheel. It's a lot like the Giratina Tyrantrum deck, in that Giratina just Chaos Wheels to disrupt your opponent, and then if you need a big attack, you use Darkrai. But these two have really kind of surprising synergy, especially when you factor in acceleration from Baby Yveltal. I mean, of course, there's always Yveltal regular, but I'm just going to go ahead and get into the deck and explain everything as I go along. Two Shaman, don't even need to explain this. If you want me to explain, feel free to ask in the comment section below. However, I feel like I've said it enough that it really doesn't need it anymore. 3 Darkrai just for Dark Pulse. We will never ever be using Dark Head. I can't think of any situation where you would, because even if you have 3 Dark Energy on Darkrai, Dark Pulse will still be hitting for 80 anyway. So you're only going to be using Dark Pulse in this deck, but that can hit for a surprising amount of damage very, very quickly. Running 4 Baby Yveltal for the Oblivion Wing, just add a Darkness Energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench, well, attach, not add, and you can add it to your bench Pokemon. Attach, not add. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. But really, this guy is great, especially for the Night March matchup, to be able to just accelerate while only trading a single prize card and taking prize cards ourselves. We're also running 1 Yveltal EX because, I mean, running a dark deck, why not throw Yveltal in there, just because it is such a phenomenal, phenomenal card, especially with the acceleration that we are running. You can power this baby up very, very quickly. And then Giratina, Chaos Wheel. Most likely you're going to have a Double Dragon and then 2 regular energy. That's plus 80 damage on Dark Pulse right there. So Giratina is amazing in this deck as well. Running 1 Jirachi. I really, you know what? Jury's still out on how I feel about this thing. I think you could definitely get rid of it and add something else to streamline this deck a little more. But Jirachi is a great tech to have against like Seismitoad and Night March if you want to slow them down a little bit. Although I feel like Baby Yveltal is all you need against Night March, well, in conjunction with Giratina, because once you get through enough of the Night Marchers with Yveltal, Giratina just shuts down their DCEs, and that just keeps them from being able to attack. So I feel like this deck has enough tech against Night March. Feel free to get rid of Jirachi if you want. It's just there because, I mean, that's what I believe the originator of this deck had, and I just decided to leave it in. One thing that I did add is a Hoopa. Now, you need to be careful with Hoopa just because we are not running Skyfield in this deck at all. So once Hoopa's out, it's staying there, and I mean, it's taking up a whole bench spot, and you fill up your bench very quickly. But considering almost all of the Pokemon in this deck, apart from Yveltal and Jirachi, are EXs, Hoopa is just great as acting as like a pseudo Ultra Ball and stuff like that. So that is why Hoopa's in here. 2 Battle Compressor just to get Darkness Energy and supporters in the discard pile. I mean, you want to be kind of careful with how you use Battle Compressor because you don't want to get too much energy in there because, I mean, things like Max Elixir, you need to get it from the deck. But, I mean, Battle Compressor streamlines your deck and lets you do a little bit more early on in terms of acceleration. I'm running my typical 1 Escape Rope, 1 Switch, because, I mean, I like those. They work together very well. Escape Rope works as a Lysander, all of that stuff. 4 Max Elixir. 2, you know what, let's power up Dark Pulse even more and accelerate onto Giratina even more. Given the right scenario, you can get a 1-turn Giratina with a Double Dragon and then 2 Max Elixir. So, I mean, considering this deck is based on getting Dark Energy out, Max Elixir is phenomenal, and all of our Pokemon are basic anyway, so there's no drawback of having an evolved Pokemon that you can't attach to. 1 Super Rod, just in case you're too many of your Pokemon go down, or you overextend yourself in terms of Dark Energy just to get everything back. 4 of my usual line of 4 Trainer's Mail for consistency, 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out, and 4 VS Seeker to reuse our supporters. This has great synergy with Battle Compressor, like I have said before. As for the supporters, we are running 1 AZ. I like to use it to bring up a Shaman that you want to play back down, but this is especially for that stupid Hoopa that is oh so valuable early in the game, but later in the game when you're like, oh, I really want to play another Eviltal, well, you can just AZ up that baby, play the Eviltal down, and Hoopa got you the Pokemon that you wanted, and now it's not in a position to be Lysandered out later. So that's the reason AZ's in this deck, and in a pinch it can be used to grab a Shaman and replay it down. 1 Hex Maniac to really shut down like Vespiquen, Vileplume, Greninja Break, Trevenant Break. I mean, a lot of those decks I've been seeing lately, and I mean, this deck does well enough against Trevenant Break where you could even do without the Hex Maniac in that matchup, but Hex Maniac is just so good against so many different types of decks. Well, particularly Safeguard, Carbink. I mean, this deck would have enough trouble against fighting just because of the weakness. Hex Maniac really helps you be able to shut down that stupid Safeguard ability and knock that thing out with just 1 attack from a well, I think it has to be a Fighting Fury Belt boosted Giratina or a Darkrai. 1 Lysander, because Lysander is great. I mean, Lysander. That's all I need to say on that one. It's a lot like Shaman in terms of you're going to have it in almost every single deck. And then 3/3 of N and Sycamore. That's the line I'm comfortable with. That's the line I'm going with. It served me well. At least I think it served me well. Can't be sure. But, I mean, I think it served me well, and that's all that matters, right? 1 Reverse Valley to get a little bit more damage. I mean, in case you don't get a Fighting Fury Belt on a Giratina and just need that 10 more damage to knock out a Shaman or a Wobbuffet or a Trevenant. That's what it is there for. And speaking of 10 extra damage, we have this lovely little thing called Fighting Fury Belt, which not only gives us 10 extra damage on our attacks, but also gives longevity to our big basic attackers. So, I mean, Fighting Fury Belt is just so good in this deck. I mean, you can potentially run Muscle Band, but I really don't see what benefit it would have that Fighting Fury Belt doesn't do. I mean, you hit a magic number with Giratina with Fighting Fury Belt, and I mean, Darkrai, you can power it up, get its attack to do a little more so easily that I really don't see why you would necessarily need Muscle Band. So Fighting Fury Belt all the way, in my opinion, in this deck. 1 Floatstone, just because, I mean, a lot of these guys are heavy, and you don't want to have them active all, like, I mean, if Hoopa gets Lysandered active, if, like, a Yveltal or Giratina or Darkrai that's not ready gets Lysandered active, it can really put you back. So 1 Floatstone just to give some free retreat along with the Switch and Escape Rope. 4 Double Dragon, I mean, it powers up Darkrai and it powers up Giratina too. I mean, what more excuse do you need to run 4 in this deck? And then 7 Darkness Energy, just because, I mean, it's Dark Energy. Dark Energy is great in this deck. It powers everything up and all that stuff. So, done rambling. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against March 22, and just to show how excited I am, I gave you a voice crack right there. But alright, we do get a call to coin flip. I hope this is a Trevenant deck because we would have such an advantage. We do win, we get to go first, that is amazing. I'm hoping we get a hand just as nice to boot, and we do. Oh, that is gorgeous. I can play the Yveltal down, put an energy onto it, max Elixir, maybe get another energy on the Giratina, and then Sycamore away the rest of my hand. I mean, this is just such a great hand to start with. I mean, I really couldn't ask for much more. I mean, except for maybe like 4 max Elixir, and then I hit every single one of them, as well as a Darkrai. And okay, so this is a Bats deck. I think to start with, just going to attach the energy onto the Yveltal, play the Fighting Fury Belt. That is gorgeous to see. Get the max Elixir, put an energy onto the Darkrai. We hit that. That is so awesome. And then Sycamore away the rest of our hand, and oh, this is great. We even get a Double Dragon for next turn to play onto the Giratina, and wanted to play the Shaman, realized I had too many cards. Let's play the Floatstone onto the Yveltal, and then Shaman for 1 more. I kind of just want to get something else out so that I don't have to discard both Double Dragon, but I get a Darkrai. You know what, that's not the worst thing in the world, and I'm just going to end the turn right there. So that was actually a very, very great start. I have a really good hand. I mean, it's not amazing just because I will have to discard a Double Dragon, But in this deck, I mean, you have enough attackers that can go just on the dark energy that you don't need all of those double dragon energy in order to win. I mean, you can function purely on the dark energy, although that is obviously not optimal, as double dragon boosts the attacks of Darkrai and powers up Giratina at the same time. I figured that, you know what, it's okay to discard 1 or 2 double dragon. If you discard 3, that's not the best. My opponent is obviously playing a bats deck. I mean, how did I guess? Well, I mean, the bats were kind of a hint. And based on the fact that this is a pure psychic deck, okay, this is obviously Wobbuffet as well, and my opponent just Skyless for a Sycamore. I mean, the nice thing about this being pure psychic is we don't have to worry about any Shaman, but in today's game, you basically have to play Shaman, or you can't Skyla for a supporter is what I'm trying to say. And you know what? That top deck for me was absolutely gorgeous, because what I can do is Battle Compressor in N, an Energy, and a Hex Maniac to be able to Oblivion Wing for effective damage. And you know what? Because my opponent has a Sycamore in his hand, I'm okay with ending my opponent down. I want to get back that double dragon energy for use later, and then, I mean, just drawing 6 cards is just fine with me. And alright, let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, get another Fighting Fury Belt. I can slap that onto the Darkrai, and we'll be able to Oblivion Wing turn 2, have a fully set up Giratina for next turn. I mean, we won't be able to knock out the Zubat, but the only way we could have done that is with a Fighting Fury Belt and a Reverse Valley, and I obviously didn't get the Reverse Valley, and I'd already played the Fighting Fury Belt, so I just decided to go for some damage. Get an energy on the Darkrai. Just that way I have 2 potential attackers next turn. I mean, I can attack with Giratina, I can attack with Darkrai, really whatever I want to do. Okay, we do see the Wobbuffet come down, and it's an invisible Golbat. Ugh, that's terrifying, because you can't even see what is going on. My opponent, I don't think there's a way he can knock me out this turn. I mean, he'd have to get really, really lucky. If he got all 3 bats, he could knock me out. Oh, we see a Super Scoop Up, so that could account for 1 bat. And gets heads. Okay, so now he will be able to evolve his second Zubat, get some more energy onto, well, not energy, damage onto the Yveltal, and oh no, please don't give him the 3rd Super Scoop Up. That would be so dumb. Of course he gets it. So yeah, okay, this fresh Yveltal is going to go down to a series of lucky coin flips from my opponent. That is very, very frustrating. But, I mean, what I can do is I can go into either Giratina or Darkrai to be able to get some damage. I think I'm just going to go for Darkrai at this point, just because, I mean, Giratina has the magic number, well, with all the energy and stuff like that, and Darkrai can be powered up, so even if this one gets knocked out, it's not a big deal. And what I can do is just Ultra Ball, get rid of a Shaman, and whatever else was in my hand. I wasn't paying too much attention, but let's just grab another Giratina to be able to put some double dragons onto it if I need it. Play the Yveltal down as well, just to have a backup something or other, and I even get a double dragon to put on another Giratina. This is just great, and what I can do, play another Darkrai down, maybe? Have another attacker, potentially? Yeah, that's a good idea. Play... Okay, I kind of want to wait to lock the Reverse Valley into place, but screw it, just going to go for it. And I will definitely be able to knock out this Wobbuffet this turn with a Dark Pulse for 140 damage. Alrighty. And we will be able to get, okay, a Trainer's Mail. That is not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, so we're in... Okay, I mean, my opponent just immediately gets rid of our Reverse Valley, so... I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to lock it into place, but... whatever. It's not going to be that big of a deal, just because I think I have way too much going for me in order for my opponent to be able to really just take me down and win. I mean, he could get some damage with the Golbats and Crobats, but my priority has to be taking out the Wobbuffets, because the bats on their own, while they help with the damage, they won't be doing enough in themselves to be able to knock out like a Darkrai and a Giratina. Like the Wobbuffet will have to be attacking in conjunction with those guys. So, I mean, while the damage will be annoying from the bats, I mean, I think if I take out the Wobbuffets, I will be just fine. And what's nice about Darkrai, and another reason I promoted it, is because I saw my opponent had another Wobbuffet on the bench and potentially ready to go. And Darkrai has that really handy resistance to Psychic, which comes through right there. I mean, my opponent had to get the 20 damage onto the Darkrai to even be able to do any damage at all. Play the Trainer's Mail, see what I can get. Yeah, let's grab the VS Seeker, just so I can potentially get a Sycamore or a Hex Maniac or Actually, you know what? I think that's going to be my play this turn. After I play the Double Dragon, that is. Let's go ahead and Hex Maniac, keep my opponent from being able to get any more damage onto my Pokemon through bats, and then just Dark Pulse. Buy myself a turn. Darkrai can knock something out again next turn, and Hex Maniac, I mean, while it's generally in there for Greninja Break, it is great for just, like, stalling against decks with bats. And, Invisible Zubat, too. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in just such a good position. I don't see any way my opponent can really do much to me. I mean, he can get 20 more damage onto the Darkrai, but that's not going to do much at all for him. I mean, he can swoop across, or he just retreats into a Zubat, and he can Skill Dive right here. He can Skill Dive for free because of Dimension Valley, and he can put like 10 damage on a Giratina or something like that. But I think, okay, he puts the Wobbuffets back. Those will definitely be my targets later. And okay, is my opponent just going to attack with Zubat? If so, I think I'll want to switch into Giratina in order to lock my opponent from special energy and tools and stuff like that. So I think, I mean, I have a switch in hand, so I might as well use it, right? Well, I get a Max Elixir. That is great. Can I hit an energy off of it? Yes, I do. So, you know what? I have a fully powered up Giratina. And I think that will be my play. I'm just going to Ultra Ball, get rid of the Hoopa, and the other Ultra Ball to kind of thin out my deck just because, I mean, I'm probably going to play an N this turn. I will only get 4 cards, and my opponent will get 5, but whatever. Nope. Do I want to play the N yet? Yeah. I mean, I can always attack with Darkrai if I need to. And, ooh, this is even better, because my opponent might be able to get a Crobat, but what I can do is potentially power up another Giratina on the bench. That is really awesome. Can I hit another energy? No. Unfortunate. But what I can do is now Escape Rope to knock out a Golbat instead of a Zubat, so the potential damage on the board for my opponent next turn is a lot less. And then I can also lock him from the aforementioned tools, special energy, all that stuff. I mean, the stadium won't really matter that much, but, I mean, you know what? It's whatever. Let's go ahead and take a prize card. It's a VS Seeker, so that is pretty solid. Even if my opponent gets a Crobat, then I can, well, there's the Crobat. Unfortunately, Giratina cannot Oko that, so what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and, oh, I can't VS Seeker anymore because my opponent ended me. I'm glad I played that Ultra Ball now to get rid of the cards that I didn't want to see at all, and, well, we're rewarded with an N. I mean, that's only 3 cards, but you know what? It's a pretty decent 3, and what I can even do is Ultra Ball to get rid of the Yveltal and whatever else I draw to thin out my deck even further to minimize the damage from ends. And see, my opponent is racking up the damage, but the bats themselves cannot do enough damage to win. I even get a Trainer's Mail, so I'm just going to go for that. See, yeah, there's the switch. That's what you like to see. And I can switch into my Darkrai in order to be able to knock out this Crobat in one shot. And then, do I want to N? Do I want to N? I kind of, you know what? I'm just going to Ultra Ball, get rid of the N and the Yveltal, thin out my deck a little bit. Just, I mean, for the sake of opposing N, and then I'm just going to grab an Yveltal. It really doesn't matter at this point. I'm just trying to get rid of cards that I wouldn't want to see later, only have potentially useful cards, and then knock out the Crobat for a whopping, well, with a whopping 210 damage. Like, this Darkrai just got powered up so quickly, and I can even power up another Giratina or get Darkrai semi-powered up in the background, and yep, there's a Crobat again. And I mean, like I said before, I mean, this is exactly what this deck is supposed to do. Well, against my opponent's type of deck anyway. Well, I even have a full bench, so my opponent can't utilize Target Whistle. That's great. And on their own, the bats can't take out decks. I mean, the bats can't do much on their own apart from just chip damage here and there. That's why you have to take out the attackers and, well, prioritize taking out the attackers. You obviously have to take out some of the bats along the way. And you know what? I think I'm just going to power up another Darkrai. Well, kind of power it up, have it 1 energy away, knock out this Wobbuffet with 230 damage, and then take a prize card. Please? Please don't do this. No. Oh, I'm so close to winning, and this was such a, yep, there it is. There is the very adorable "You have no signal." Yay, go TCGO. Oh, this is frustrating. Wow, I'm... Alright guys, I will be right back. I'm gonna pause the video and see if I can figure out what the heck is going on. Well, there it is. We lost connection with the server and what? I get coins for getting logged out. I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe I think my opponent forfeited before the game must have ended after my opponent forfeited, and then I got the coins, but I got kicked out at the same time. So all of a sudden I'm receiving coins while I'm kind of at the main screen. So I don't know what's going on. Really sorry about that. I'm going to see if I can try to log back in right now, see if TCGO is just kind of screwing with me or if it's actually my Wi-Fi. I don't think it's my Wi-Fi because we just got completely better internet. I installed extenders and everything, and nope. Okay, network connection with the server is lost. Terribly sorry about that, guys. You know what? I'm going to try to figure out what exactly happened, but if that's the video, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys. Yes, I know I said I ended the video, but I figured out what happened. The temporary card ban, this little notification that I got upon finally being able to re-sign in, was not there when I started recording the video. So you know what I think happened? I think TCGO implemented that in the middle of my game, which did kick me off. And yeah, so sorry about that. I mean, I still apparently ended up winning and completing a match. But anyway, thank you guys for watching again. This is Styx signing out. Why not? Again. See you guys.